Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday evening. I am back from my vacation and I'm here to resume my Thursday evening lives. I go live every Thursday inside my private Facebook group to talk about topics top of mind that are really important to discuss with autoimmune disease, Hashimoto specifically, and any sort of chronic inflammation. So Thursday evenings, I go live. And if you want me to discuss any topics that you would like to get an opinion on or, thoughts around, reach out to me, send me a DM, send me a message, and I can certainly create some content around it. So I stream this into my private Facebook group. I do that every Thursday. So I will stream it onto Instagram today because I find this topic is just so critical. And there's so many questions around the weight loss, weight gain issue with Hashimoto's that I really want to address that on both platforms. But if you do want to join me inside my private Facebook group, feel free. I go live there frequently with topics just like that and any other topics that my members would like me to talk about. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about weight gain with Hashimoto's and how not to think about carbs, but to think about hormones when it comes to that issue. For those of you, hello, Michelle, I know is here, Nazia is here. Um, Anybody who comes on live, please give me a wave, say hello in the comments, let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from. And please, if you have questions, post them. I'm happy to answer all of them. Hey, Katie, how are you? Nice to see you. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Perdula Marshall. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist. I work out of Canada, Ontario, and I have Hashimoto's. I have been diagnosed with Hashimoto's for 10 years, since 10 years ago. And I have been on a very long journey. And then I changed my career because hey, Michelle, because I didn't find the answers that I needed. Hey, Katie. So I really wanted to explore that for me. And I went back to nutrition school. And that is when everything changed for me. And I started my own health journey and really started to become so aware of so many different factors that come into place. So tonight, let's talk about weight gain, the inability of losing weight for so many of us with Hashimoto's. And it's a struggle. And it's not because we just want to lose those extra 5 pounds that we might have gained over the course of the years. That is not the point. But what I'm talking about here is just the inability of losing 20 pounds, 30 pounds, and the frustration of not getting to a stable level of weight, optimal weight that is supporting our health long term and doing everything right. So I see a lot of women that are going out there, they're going to the gym, they're working out, they're watching what they're eating, they're cutting carbs, and that's something we're going to be talking about tonight as well a little bit. They're doing all the right things. They're not eating junk food and all of these things. And what's happening is that they are not only are they not losing weight, but they are actually consistently gaining weight. So, and they're just flabbergasted and know how is this even happening, right? That my body is just not able to get to its optimal health level in terms of weight. Um, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Are you guys hearing me well on IG? Let me know. If not, I'm going to be hooking up my speakers if that is going to be helpful for you. Okay. So, yeah, give me a wave. Let me know who's here. Let's get this party started. So, weight gain. Don't think carbs, think hormones. Okay, you hear me. Great. The first response is when we are trying to lose weight with Hashimoto's is to cut the carbohydrates because in our world, the carbohydrates have been touted as the enemy, and carbohydrates are just simply bad for you, and you need to cut them. And oftentimes, this is not going to help you because it's not necessarily because of the carbs of the intake of carbs that you're eating that you're not losing weight, but it's because of hormonal imbalances. And carbs do play a role, and I'm going to be explaining that a little bit more in a second. um, so carbohydrates, what are they doing? Carbohydrates are giving you energy, so your body is primed to use carbohydrates first for immediate energy. It's the go-to source, and our body needs it for immediate, quick response, quick action energy, right? So carbohydrates are necessary for us. Um, and however, with our thyroid issues with Hashimoto's, oftentimes what happens is that we are having issues with the uptake of the carbohydrates, the sugar into our cells. And why is that? Because of our low thyroid function. Low thyroid function affects blood sugar. So, um, both high and low blood sugar cause thyroid dysfunction, right? So it causes dysglycemia, which is the imbalance of blood sugar, and can lead to metabolic syndrome. Why is that? Because low thyroid function, which we all have with Hashimoto's, slows the rate of glucose uptake by cells. So low thyroid function slows the rate of glucose uptake by cells. So the glucose, the sugar, the energy that you're eating with the carbohydrates are meant to enter your cells, right? Because they're meant to fuel your cells to do what they need to do their jobs, to do their functions, to perform. So low thyroid function actually slows that uptake. Okay. Um, Low thyroid function decreases the rate of glucose absorption in the gut. So your glucose absorption also happens in the gut. And low thyroid function actually decreases that absorption in the gut. Okay, so keep that in mind and you will see where I'm getting here. So, number one, it decreases the uptake of glucose by the cells. Number two, it decreases glucose absorption in the gut. Number three, it slows response of insulin to elevated blood sugar. Every time you eat carbohydrates, your blood sugar goes up. That's just a fact. That is the way it works in your body. Your blood sugar goes up. And then the first response is insulin, right? So you have that hormone, insulin, that is being pumped out by your pancreas. And the normal response is for the insulin to take that energy and carry it into the cells, right? So the insulin is the carrier mechanism that carries that sugar into your cells. Now, low thyroid function slows that response of insulin to elevated blood sugar, right? So it slows that response. And lastly, low thyroid function slows the clearance of insulin from the blood. Okay, so the insulin, when it comes in and puts that sugar away into your cells, once it's done, it needs to be cleared from the blood, right? And because otherwise it would be knocking on everybody on the cells doors all the time, and then the doors will not open anymore because they are getting slightly annoyed by those by the insulin response if it knocks on the door over and over and over again, right? So keep that in mind. It slows the clearance of insulin from the blood, so the insulin hangs out a little bit more longer than if your thyroid would be working optimally. So where am I getting here with this? I'm trying to say here is that low thyroid function, Hashimoto's, in itself causes all of those slowing of the rate of glucose uptake by the cells of mechanisms in your body that is processing sugar. It slows all of these actions, which leads to dysregulation. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit more information to connect it to weight gain. Does this so far make sense to you guys? So low thyroid function slows all of the sugar processing in your body. Now, which means you can be eating a regular diet, right? You can be eating regular intake of carbohydrates. And because of the slowing of those processes, unlike a normal person without thyroid issues, your body is reacting to the sugar in a stressful way because for your body, it's alarming your body of too much sugar in your body that cannot be taken away and processed and absorbed and put into the cells properly in a timely manner, which means that your body is in alert, state. Your body senses this and sends a message to your brain and says, wait a second, something is not right here. Help me regulate this. So the issue here is that you're eating the carbohydrates and your blood sugar goes up, and the blood sugar, the sugar is not being put away into the cells in a timely manner. Insulin hangs around for quite some time, which causes, almost like not insulin resistance yet, but your sensitivity to insulin goes down because your cells are saying, we don't need you, insulin. We don't need so much sugar in our cells. So what happens is that the blood sugar still needs to be taken back into balance. It still needs to be brought back into a maintenance state. Blood sugar can be high, right? If that would happen, then you would basically die very quickly. So where is that sugar then being transported, right? The extra sugar that cannot be processed and put into cells for energy is being put away into storage. And where is the storage? Let me ask you, what do you think? Where is, this sugar being stored? And so now we're going into the whole weight gain section of it, right? So your body has certain areas where sugar is being stored. So I see a comment here, it's fat cells. That is correct. However, before the fat cells comes muscles. So number one, the sugar is being stored in muscles. Once the muscle tissue is saturated, where the muscle cells are saturated with sugar, then it's going to be stored in liver. So your liver is actually a huge storage tank for glucose to be made quickly available in times of stress. And then the third storage container are fat cells, right? So that is why I see so much issues with weight that is not budging because of those imbalances. It's all going to be put into liver and fat cells. So, and maybe some of you have issues with fatty liver, even though they're eating healthy, or so they think for themselves, right? Give me hands up if that is you. I see it happening over and over again that people are very, very concerned because they're getting the fatty liver diagnosis and they don't know where it's coming from, right? So it's all hormonal imbalances that's happening here, right? So liver and fat cells. And so, like I said before, It's a state of stress that is being triggered, with all these processes. So now your body is additionally starting to react to the stressful experience that your blood sugar is high. And a state of stress always means cortisol response, right? Always the cortisol response that comes into play. So now we talked about the blood sugar imbalance, and now we are starting. Not only is it the low thyroid function that can cause this, but then in addition, because of the low thyroid function that is causing those blood sugar imbalances, the adrenals are now kicking in, cortisol is being released, which just, it goes into a vicious cycle because the cortisol response is actually freeing sugar from the liver and the fat cells sometimes and the muscle cells into your blood because you are in a fight and flight state where the body thinks, there's an emergency that you have to outrun. So you can see how it's all interconnected and how the low thyroid function can really trigger, um, severe hormonal imbalances between insulin, um, you know, blood sugar increase, the sensitivity to insulin that is going down, the absorption of glucose that is going down, creating a stressful experience in your body, which is creating more cortisol release from your adrenals. Let me know if you have any questions around this. So, that is really something you have to look into when you are not losing weight. You will have to try to find in the beginning to bring down the inflammation. You will have to try to find your carbohydrate limit. You will have to work and be intuitive with your body and see, um, you know, how many carbohydrates your body can handle in a sitting at a time, right? There's certain symptoms that you can go by, which I always discuss with my clients, so they get a really good feel for um, how they intuitively can tell when their carb limit is reached. And then you will have to make sure that you balance out the carbohydrates with other macronutrients to buffer the the response to the sugar, right? Because you will have to make sure that your blood sugar will stay more stable continuously throughout the day so that you are not on that blood sugar roller coaster that just cranks the blood sugar up high in the air, releases cortisol, and that brings on more sugar into your blood. So it's a really vicious cycle. It's a roller coaster, and that is why you are not losing weight. That is one of the biggest reasons why. It's not the only reason, there's many reasons, but from what I see in my practice and on myself also, is that that is one of the biggest reasons why you're not losing weight. It's because of the hormonal imbalances. And to be quite honest with you, honestly, every thyroid issue is stems from adrenal health issues that came before the thyroid imbalance. I can tell you that. There's always adrenal stress, adrenal issues, the HPA axis, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis that has been disrupted that can cause hypothyroid issues and can also lead to Hashimoto's. So adrenals are always involved. Make sure you address your adrenals and your stress levels. I hope this was helpful, and I hope this was, beneficial for you to understand a little bit more about the concept around how those hormones come together. If this is something that you are more interested in learning more about, and it's such a huge topic, I have actually put together a whole workshop, in-depth masterclass um, around the weight gain and with tangible steps on how you can start to reverse the blood sugar imbalance thing that is happening in a lot of cases, how you can tackle that with tangible steps. So I'm holding this masterclass on Monday, this coming Monday. I think it's the 13th. Yes, the 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern on Zoom. And I'm only allowing 8 women in, right? So if you are really dedicated and in learning more about how you can start reversing this vicious cycle of hormonal imbalances in order to start the weight loss, the sustainable weight loss with Hashimoto's, I invite you to come in on Monday, send me a message, send me a DM, a personal message, and I can get you all set up with the Zoom link and everything. So this will be very helpful. All right, everybody. I hope this was helpful, and I wish you a good night, and I will see you again very soon.